Infertility is a heartbreaking story for so many couples, and local author Trish Goetz shares her journey in her new book called My Goodbye. Welcome to Lifestyles.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's talk about really the struggle when you have ectopic pregnancies, you can't get pregnant, and just that frustration and heartbreak.
Well, the frustration and heartbreak really struck hard at the final ectopic pregnancy. That was my fourth. The first couple were removed from my tubes, and then the final two were removed with my tubes. And then that structure of, the woman being able to conceive and have a child and have a family, and, all of that goes through your mind, and you're wanting to so badly have a family, and then that's taken away. That's something that was very hard for me to wrap up in my mind. And where do you go from here? What do you do? How do you do? All these questions still, they gather in your mind, and you just don't know what to do.
Well, all those dreams that most women have about being a mom and having a family, when those are taken from you, then what do you do? How did you put one foot in front of the other and then get to IVF?
Well, after my the final ectopic, I thought, okay, there's got to be a way. God's got a different plan. What is it? So I decided, okay, let's sit down, let's think. What are we going to do? Obviously, we can't do this on our own. So we went to some infertility doctors and chose that the infertility was going to be our, doing the IVF was our way of trying to conceive again.
And let's talk about that. How did that go, and what's the process like?
The in vitro, well, of course, it's a time. It's a whole another, box of worms that you can open up, but it's a wonderful thing. Infertility, going through the IVF, you take where you take the woman's eggs, and then you inseminate within the petri dish, and then you put them back in, and it's all, of course, different than what you would have expected for having a normal pregnancy. But it's work. It's a wonderful thing. They've come so far with science, and I encourage people, if they are struggling, there's many ways that they can still have a family, whether it's through the in vitro treatments or through adoption or anything.
And so what motivated you then to share your story like this in this book?
Well, I've always written, I've always journaled, and I struggled with, what am I going to do with this? How are we going to continue? And I thought, well, let's make something positive. Let's try to help somebody else. And in the same way you help yourself, writing down and journaling just kind of gathered into a little book, and hopefully it will help others who have suffered the ectopic pregnancies and suffered losing the hope of having a child on their own. Gather enough strength to talk about what they're going through to help others. And I think eventually there will be enough of us that will get together, and it'll be more of a common topic to talk about.
Yes, well, I think with our producer, Ashley Matulis, and her twin story, and we followed her and hoping for a miracle, and your story, it helps people find somebody to connect to say, I didn't know, I want to reach out to you. Where can they acquire your book, dear?
Barnes & Noble, and of course online they have it.
Okay, easy to get. So My Goodbye, the author, Trish Goetz, thank you for coming on and sharing your story.
Me.
Bless you.
Bye-bye.
And when we come back, Gilda's Club.